morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, that's better. So at this time, we're going to get started with the program. Sergeant Bell, please present the class.
Class, vote.
Class, halt! Right, fence! Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you all please rise as the Metro Transit Police Honor Guard presents the colors. I ask that all members in uniform please salute the police place their hands over their hearts during the presentation.
March. Detail. Halt. Present. Halt.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. Up.
Ready? Cut. I ask that you now all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Flag bird. Ready. Step. Ready. Step. Count on. March. Mark.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Say thank you to the Honor Guard. Thank you to Officer Aubrey for your rendition there. We certainly appreciate it. I'm Captain Ray Gordon, Commander of the Training Division, and welcome to today's ceremony. On behalf of Chief Mike Gonzal, the officials, officers, and members of the Metro Transit Police Department, I welcome you to the graduation ceremony of Class 122. As we begin today, I would like to introduce our seated attendees. We have Mr. Joe Leader, Chief Operating Officer for Marlon. We have Chief of the Metro Transit Police Department, Mike Gonzalo. We have our guest speaker, Assistant Director in charge of the FDR Washington Field Office, Stephen Dan Tuano. Now I messed it up. Dan Tuano, right? Yes. There we go. All right. Stephen Dan Tuano. I'm going to try to get it like that as we go along. We have Deputy Chief Warren Donald, Patrol Operations Bureau. Deputy Chief Stephen Bone, Commander of the Homeland Security Intelligence and Investigations Bureau. Deputy Chief George Nader, Commander of the Administrative Services Bureau. Ms. Shonda Luis, Director of the Community Services Bureau. Mr. Tom McGuire, from the Director of Security and Infrastructure. And Mr. Denton Rourke, Office of Emergency Management and Liaison to the Metro Transit Police Department. It is my pleasure to introduce the Chief of the Metro Transit Police Department, Chief Michael Gonzalo. As the Chief of the Metro Transit Police, Chief Gonzalo leads the only tri-jurisdictional police department in the United States. With over 300 sworn officers, 116 special police officers, and nearly 75 civilian personnel, Chief Gonzalo oversees safeguarding of more than 1 million Metro Bus and Metro Rail customers each day and the safety of over 11,000 employees. He is responsible for the security of revenue, bus and rail transit vehicles, 91 rail stations, 35 parking garages, and numerous support facilities throughout the 15,000 square foot Metro Transit zone. Please welcome Chief Gonzalo, who will provide opening remarks and introduce Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Joe Leader.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, sir. So it's a special day for your officers here, our officers. So definitely glad to see a class of 13 graduating. They all started out together and they all finished together, which is really a huge achievement. Because most of the time, for different reasons, we lose probably about 5 or 10% that don't make it through the entire training cycle. So that's a good compliment to this group. I think they really gelled well, and a lot of teamwork there, and a lot of excitement and enthusiasm that they exhibited throughout the training cycle. So you should be very proud of all of them. So this is their day. So what we'll do is, when they get their certificates, if you want to come up and take pictures, that's perfectly fine. You know, with your officer, it doesn't matter how many folks come up and want to take pictures, that's fine with us. So we'll just let you sit back, enjoy the ceremony, and then afterwards, you know, we'll be available if they want to take pictures. And that's also fine. I do want to introduce the General Manager, Mr. Paul Beautiful. He sends his regrets. He has to testify up on the Hill today. But our Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Joe Leader, I'd like to introduce him. He's been here at Metro about 6 years now. I came from New York City, ran the Metro up there for over 30 years. And you know, he's been down here at Metro just trying to, you know, he's got a really big job. So he's the one that keeps the trains and buses moving and keeps an eye on all of us. So you know, he's got a lot of responsibility. Sir, you want to say a few remarks?
Sure. Thank you, Chief. Class 122, congratulations. What I love about the program is reading the bios on the officers, and it's great. We have somebody from Haiti, born and raised in Haiti. A lot of people from this area, Maryland, Virginia. As the Chief mentioned, I was born and raised and worked in New York for about 30 years. So we got some Brooklyn in the house. I love that. And we also, I won't hold it against those from Jersey, but that's okay. But anyway, but it's just really nice to see all the classes. We do get a turnout from everywhere, just not from this region. And I think it's really important. You know, when I first got down here, I didn't know if I was going to last 6 years. And I hope, and as the Chief said, I love my job. This is a great job. Working for Paul has been wonderful. And probably some of you know Paul's going to be leaving at the end of June. So we're going to be waiting to see who's the next general manager that's going to be coming. But it is a great job. And the police department here is wonderful. And in New York, when I first started in 1986, we had our own police department. My father-in-law was actually a transit cop, and he retired back in the 80s. But we lost that in 1995. They went with NYPD. To have your own police department is wonderful. I can honestly just say. And there's so many things you can do here. You know, you can be a sergeant, a lieutenant, captain, maybe chief, at one time. But also, there's a lot of things you can do here. Canine, bomb tech, crime scene. So there's a lot of things. Your training, I know 10 months is a lot to go through, but your training is really beginning right now. So just continue learning, take as many courses as you possibly can, and you have the career development here is just wonderful in the police force. So good luck, congratulations to the family. Thank you so much. Make sure you support them these next couple of years. It's very hard. I remember when I first got on the job, I didn't have Saturdays, Sundays off. I didn't work 8 to 4. Okay, we were on all different shifts. Holidays, you never knew if you were going to get a holiday or you had to work. So the first couple of years is going to be very difficult, so just support them, and I know you have. So thank you so much. Congratulations. And by the way, this is probably the last graduation here at Jackson Graham. We just got word yesterday we can move into our new headquarters at the Font. So the next graduation will probably be down at the Font. So there's a little history right now in this room. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Leader, and thank you, Chief. I would now like to introduce our guest speaker, FBI Assistant Director, Mr. Dan Tuano. So let me tell you a little bit about him. Director Dan Tuano joined the FBI as a forensic accountant in 1996 and was assigned to the Providence Residence Agency in Rhode Island under the Boston Field Office. He supported criminal investigations into financial crimes, public corruption, organized crime, drugs, and counterintelligence. In 1998, Director Dan Tuano was appointed as a special agent. After graduating from the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia, he was assigned to the Washington Field Office to investigate white-collar crime and public corruption. Director Dan Tuano was promoted to Supervisory Special Agent in 2004 and returned to the FBI Academy to teach white-collar crime courses. He transferred back to the Washington Field Office in 2008 to supervise a public corruption and government fraud squad. Director Dan Tuano was promoted to an assistant special agent in charge at the St. Louis Field Office in 2014, overseeing the criminal and administrative branches. In 2017, Director Dan Tuano was promoted to chief of the financial crime section of the Criminal Investigations Division. He oversaw all white-collar crime programs in the Bureau, including corporate securities and commodities fraud, economic crimes, financial institution fraud, money laundering, healthcare fraud, intellectual property, and forensic accounting programs. In 2019, Director Dan Tuano was named Special Agent in charge of the Detroit Field Office. In October of 2020, he was named the Assistant Director in charge of the Washington Field Office. Prior to joining the FBI, Mr. Dan Tuano was a certified public accountant. Who could have guessed that right by what all I just said? So, with that, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you for that introduction. I always get a little embarrassed on that stuff. So, and you got the name exactly right. I initially said that, think back Guano and then add Dan Tuano to it. So, the FBI does have jokes. I definitely do. So I'm probably a rare breed. So, but thank you and good morning to you all. Really appreciate and thank Chief Gonzal for the opportunity to address you all today, this graduating class. You can tell from my bio too, I'm from Rhode Island, so if you don't understand a word, I think, Jared, can you translate for me? Because, anyone from New York or anything like that, right? So, full disclosure, I was telling Chief Gonzal this morning when we came in, this is my first time ever being asked to do something like this and speak in front of a graduating class, so it's a great honor to be here this morning with you. That might be my last time too, if I really so please, I'm trying to read the audience as with my jokes. Metro Transit Police has a long history of working with the FBI's Washington Field Office. We're basically, we won't be, you guys are moving, but we're basically your neighbors, right? A couple of blocks down. Beautiful day to walk over and happy to be here, right? So, but we've been neighbors for a very long time up here. And we're very grateful for your partnership, right? You guys are fantastic. We love working with you. Partnerships are extremely important in our line of work. And I'm very lucky to have a great partner in your agency to work alongside. Chief Gonzal, fantastic. You are very fortunate to have his leadership at the very top of your agency. I met Chief Gonzalo when I was a baby supervisor, little bitty baby supervisor, many years ago. Basically, when I started in 08 here and on the Public Corruption Squad. Beyond the fact that we're both Italians, I can tell he's the type of officer, police officer, that I wanted to work with. Chief Gonzalo brings the professionalism and the respect he built over his 30-year career in law enforcement in D.C. to this job. I thank him for his steadfast leadership back then, with me, and now. You are each starting your police careers at a pivotal time in this country, and for law enforcement in general. I firmly believe that law enforcement is a calling. Some of you may realize that today, as you sit there, ready to graduate. Some of you may be like me, when I started, not having the greater understanding of what I was embarking on. I noticed as I was reading your bio, some of your brief bios, that a majority of you are the first members of your families to pursue a career in law enforcement. I'm the same. No one in my family was a law enforcement officer. In fact, as described in my bio, I'm a CPA. Kind of crazy, right? Bureau hires a lot of CPAs and lawyers, right? So before I took the oath, my family and friends were like, why are you going to law enforcement? They couldn't understand it. And I would always tell them jokingly, kind of seriously, I was going to use my powers for good rather than evil. Either way, sitting there, you like me are here today because we recognize there's no higher responsibility than that of service to our communities we serve. But let's be honest, the last few years have not been easy for anyone in law enforcement. We face old and new threats every day in our communities, like the rise of violence in cities across the nation, drugs, terrorism. In some instances, people just not being good humans to other humans. Add to that the tension between law enforcement and the communities we serve, and it makes for an interesting dynamic. Like the FBI, Metro Transit Police's mission is critical to the public safety of the National Capital Region. And the pandemic has brought new challenges to that mission. We see a lot of darkness, and our agents and officers put their lives on the line every day. We do this work because we know we are part of something larger than ourselves. We want to make an impact, make it better. It's a choice to serve, to do good for a living. Like I said, use my powers for good rather than evil. It's not always an easy choice, but I can tell you this, in my 26 years, it's an incredibly rewarding choice. This is not an easy job, and I applaud each and every one of you for answering the call to serve. I briefly mentioned family a bit ago, right? So let me circle back to that. I love quotes, historical quotes, inspirational quotes. I'm not talking about the cat hanging from the things they hang in there. I'm not talking about that, right? Movie quotes, love movie quotes. Incidentally, I have my staff back at WFO find quotes, post those quotes on like a revolving basis on our electronic board in our garage. So as we drive through, try not to get into accidents, but as we drive down the ramp, we see the board, right? So always wondering what the new quote is. So we change those often. And the other day, actually, I was driving into the garage, and I saw the quote. It's both from Parks and Rec. I can't say that. Parks and Rec. And remember that show? Really good show. Well, the quote was, "No one achieves anything alone." So think about that for a minute. Really, does anyone achieve anything alone? First thing that comes to my mind is the support of our friends and families to help guide us along in our life. You may be the one that scored the winning touchdown or wrote that master's thesis. But behind you and underneath you, lifting you up is our friends and family, helping us achieve our goals and dreams. You're to be there to comfort us when maybe we haven't yet achieved those goals and dreams. A law enforcement career can be very hard on our families in so many different ways. Remember that. Nurture that as you walk along your path. And realize that they may not be walking that beat with you, but in reality, they are walking that beat with you, just not physically there. They are the ones saying goodbye to you in the morning or night, depending on the detail, the beat, and worrying about you until you come home. And when you do come home, tired, physically and mentally exhausted from your beat, from doing the job that you love and are called on to do, you don't want to talk about what happened that day, realize that your family was and is still worried about you. Show them that love and support, regardless if you are tired from the job. Take it from me, believe me. I've been through my share of crises and problems. Look at my bio. It's so important to involve your family. Let them support you. Let them in. Because no one achieves anything alone. Once you've made that choice to serve, you realize pretty quickly that you can't achieve anything alone. You can't get very far without building strong partnerships that I spoke about. This in this room, it's your family, it's also your law enforcement family as well. Those are things I learned, right? With the calling, that I didn't understand, right? But this is your law enforcement family. This is your sisters, your brothers, or family that you may not have been born into, but have definitely been called into. This family, we may be dysfunctional at times, trust me. We're definitely dysfunctional. And it's made up of a lot of different personalities, big and small. Trust me, I've heard the FBI jokes. I can recite them, try to smash those things down, right? But like normal brothers and sisters, we're gonna fight, right? We're gonna fight and we're gonna fight with each other, but we're always there for each other in time of need. Always. Because there is a bond between us all, local, state, and federal law enforcement. Especially in the DC area, right? This area, Chief Gonzal, myself, the other chiefs here, so many agencies, so many overlapping jurisdictions. You're gonna find that, trust me. But they're critical, right? Those partnerships are critical. As an example, Metro Transit Police is part of the WFO's JTTF, Joint Terrorism Task Force, right? Proud member. That's a model of collaboration in the NCR. Do an absolutely fantastic job with you all. It's important to have partnerships with not only within law enforcement, but with not only with our law enforcement counterparts, but also with the community at large. This is important. And this is where you come in. Today, you have earned the right to serve the community at large as police officers. Not everyone can be a police officer. It takes someone special. To be a police officer, you need the physical ability and the mental attitude to get the job done. Much of that has been taught over to you for the past 10 months, but to truly serve the police officer in today's society, you need more than has been taught to you. You need two traits that can't be learned in the academy. The traits of courage and integrity must come from within. I'm not talking about courage in the line of fire. I'm talking about courage to make the decisions for the right reasons. Notice that I didn't say make the right decisions, because sometimes in the heat of the moment, we as humans, and especially as law enforcement officers, have our decision-making processes muddled, jumbled up. Mistakes happen, and they won't happen throughout your career. I've made my share of them, trust me. And as in everyday life, we learn from them. I always like to say, just chalk it up to experience, because it's about the experience. building that experience, building that portfolio. The important point, as my director always likes to say, you make the decision in the right way for the right reason. Now let's be real, no one likes those flashing blue lights behind us as we drive, including me. There's a sense of unease, but how many times in your pre-police careers have you breathed a sigh of relief when the police arrive? Say at the scene of a major automobile accident, or during ongoing insurgency. That sigh of relief is grounded in the trust the community has in our police in general. Your community demands not only for you to protect them in need, but they must trust you on making the right decisions in the right way. Every time you arrive on the scene, you are carrying tools of the trade, not just your sidearm and handcuffs. A vitally important tool of the trade, that of trust. Trust is a potent tool, but simply put, policing is built on relationships. It's one of the cornerstones of relationships, personal and professional. It's trust. If the community does not trust us as police officers or agencies that we serve, the community is less likely to cooperate with us. Trust allows our system of laws to serve fairness to all. It is the most essential obligation we must serve to our society. Violating that trust or making decisions for the wrong reason does just the opposite. People don't cooperate with us, and our laws are not enforced fairly. By building on this trust model, it defines the most essential trait of you as a police officer, that of integrity. Those of us that have given our lives to policing cringe at the very few police officers or FBI agents who stray from using integrity as their guide. That's because we know that one simple, unethical act in the eyes of the community undoes the thousands of instances of trust others have built. It is a fragile ecosystem. We must band together to ensure that we do everything possible to ensure that the trust we build is protected by all those who wear the badge. The badge is a heavy obligation, but an honorable one that only special men and women can carry. Mention with one more quote. There's a quote from American entrepreneur W. Clement Stone that reads, "Have the courage to say no. Have the courage to face the truth. Do the right thing because it is right." These are the magic keys to living your life with integrity. I said to you, the graduating class, carry your badge with pride and honor. Never compromise your integrity. Your career path is paved with the bricks of those defending the honor of that badge you now wear. And at the end of your career, be able to lay down your brick with pride that you walk down that same path. I wish you all each outstanding success in your law enforcement career, and look forward to working alongside with you, maybe over the JTF someday, right? If you're not trying to I'll hand out some constants. Helping us defend this community, right? The community that we serve here at the NCR and our nation. I really thank you for your time. I thank you for the honor to be here today, too. Thank you.
Well, I have to say after that, Director, I'm pretty sure we're going to put you on speed dial. Some really good stuff. Also, I want you to know that I spent all yesterday with these recruits saying your name is Dan Tuano, and you came in today and just blew it up. So I appreciate that as well. At this time, also, we'd like to we have a presentation going from the chief, sir.
Steve, on behalf of the District Attorney, please. Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming out today. This is kind of nice to recruit class.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, at the end of each recruit class, the members select a spokesperson to share a few words at the graduation ceremony. The selected individual for Class 122 is Officer Jared Ferguson.
Good morning. I'd like to acknowledge General Manager Paul Weirfield, Executive Vice President Joe Leader, Police Chief Gonzal, Deputy Chief Nader, Donald, Bone, Lewis, distinguished guests, family and friends, and Class 122. Though still a relatively young department, Metro Transit Police has not been spared the fate of losing officers in the line of duty. Please join me in a moment of silence as we remember MTPD Officer Harry Davis Jr. and Officer Marlon Morales and the 91 officers killed in the line of duty this year. Thank you. It is an absolute privilege and honor to stand before you today as Class 122 speaker. Eight and a half months, 38 weeks, 262 days, 6,288 hours, 377,280 minutes. These measurements of time are annotated for you to comprehend exactly how long those who are seated before you took to become Metro Transit police officers. Within these fragments of time, 13 complete strangers became closer, stronger, knowledgeable, and most importantly, family. We all come from different walks of life, stretching along the eastern seaboard. From the cities of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Richmond, Virginia, Southeast Washington, D.C., the different municipalities of New Jersey and Maryland, and the hustle and bustle of New York City. So yes, we do come from different parts of the world, but we all share one goal. The goal of being here today, in this exact moment, at this exact time. To be awarded what we so righteously and diligently earn. We learn nothing will be given to you, but everything will be expected of you. We fought together, we ate together, we cried together. Together, forge a bond that nothing will be able to destroy. These bonds were forged at 45299 Research Place, 3421 Pensy Drive, and in the front leaning rest position. We bloused our pants, military pressed our uniform, shined our boots, and came ready to work each day. Eager to learn and become better than the day before. Some days were more challenging than others, but the thought of giving up never crossed our mind. So what do you call that? Firmness of mind or spirit? Unyielding courage in the face of hardship or danger? Courage and determination despite difficulty? The power of passion and perseverance? These are a few of many definitions that define the word grit. In the beginning weeks of our journey to become Metro Transit police officers, having grit was stapled into our mind and body during drill week. During this week, we were bombarded with challenges. Our mental fortitude and physical willpower were tested each day. These challenges consisted of hundreds of push-ups, hundreds of flutter kicks, and running around aimlessly without a sense of direction and so much confusion. Yes, those moments seemed like an eternity, but our drill instructors and training cadre were trying to drive home two major points. One of the many lessons we learned was to work as a team, to work as a collective unit. If one person messes up or falls short of an expectation, we all fall short. You are only as strong as the weakest link in the chain. And I'm here to tell you that all 13 links stood tall and held their end of the bargain with no questions asked or any excuses. Next, the lesson of grit. Ask yourself, do you have any? We learned that it takes courage, willpower, determination, and a hunger for excellence to achieve. To achieve the things you dreamt of. To achieve far past your imagination, your self-expectations, and what we have signed up for. During this academy, it took a great deal of hard work, motivation, book work, corrective action, and sweat. In these waking moments, we have to become creative and optimistic. The creativity of having your mind negotiate with your body to push through another smoke session. The mental capability of retaining information of means of arrest for all 3 jurisdictions that MTPD governs. Day in and day out, our instructors prepared us for what was yet to come, and today is that day. Today is the day when the training wheels are taken off and where real life takes place. Class 122 would like to thank Chief Gonzal and the entire command staff for this life-changing and rewarding opportunity. Thank you for believing in us and giving us a chance to pursue our dream as law enforcement officers. We will not let you down. Class 122 would like to thank our training staff for all they have given us and poured into us. Your willingness to help mold us into the police officers we are today will never go unnoticed. We are forever grateful for the amount of time and preparation you've taken to get us to this chapter of our lives. We will not let you down. And Class 122 would like to thank and honor our families for the endless and abundant amount of support that has not wavered through this entire process from start to finish. We're grateful for you. Thank you for believing in us and understanding the commitment we have made entering this profession. We will not let you down. Thank you and God bless. And at this time, we would like to present Chief Gonzalo a token of our appreciation. This one's
Very nice, very nice. Yeah. Okay.
I have 2 for
Oh,
you.
wow, good. Very nice, good job, guys.
Thank you, Officer Ferguson. We certainly appreciate that. Just to set something straight, I kept hearing them talk about these smoke sessions. Just so y'all know, that was just a physical activity. And it was neat. Assistant Director, you talked about that dysfunctionality. That helped with that dysfunctionality. That helped with things together. Before calling up the Chief to administer the oath of office, I would like to acknowledge some people that are here today. I would actually like for the members of the command staff that are here, please take a moment to stand up and be acknowledged. Come on, stand up, don't be shy. Thank you, appreciate it. All right, you guys sit back down. Also, I would like to thank the members of the Metro Transit Police Department Training Division, our Background Investigations Unit. They did a great job this time. Everybody made it through. So the Modest Office of Human Resources and the instructors who played vital roles in helping to get these individuals to where they are today. So, with that, Class 122, attention. Now we will have the oath of office. Prior to Class 122 taking the law enforcement oath of office, it is important they understand what this oath means. An oath is a solemn pledge an individual will make when they sincerely intend to do what is said. The oath is a powerful vehicle demonstrating high ethical standards through long-standing traditions and commitment. The oath is administered to every Metro Transit police officer. Chief, will you please administer the oath?
All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name.
Erica Alvarado.
Tammy Artist.
Abdel Koto.
James Francois, Christian Aquasaka,
Jared Ferguson.
Janoy Jackson.
Charles House,
Christian Barrera.
Elliot Witt,
Justin Logan.
Alexander Tubman,
Domingo De Leon.
Do hereby swear or affirm
Do hereby swear and affirm
that I will support and defend
That I will
support and defend
All right. We'll do that one more time. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
and will discharge my responsibilities as a police officer
And will discharge my responsibilities as a police officer
of the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority
of the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority
with dispatch and with dedication,
with dispatch and total dedication,
integrity and impartiality,
integrity and impartiality,
and will faithfully perform the duties of that office.
and will faithfully perform the duties of that office.
I will obtain all evidence lawfully
I will obtain all evidence lawfully
and will work diligently to determine
and will work diligently to determine
the facts without fear or favor.
the facts without fear or favor.
I will accurately report my findings
I will accurately report my findings
regardless of whether they establish
regardless of whether they establish
the guilt or innocence of an individual.
the guilt or innocence of an individual.
I will obey as well as enforce the law
I will obey as well as enforce the law
where it is incumbent upon me to do so.
where it is incumbent upon me to do so.
I will abide by the rules and regulations
I will abide by the rules and regulations
of the Transit Authority,
of the Transit Authority,
and I will obey my superiors
and I will obey my superiors
in all lawful matters of duty performance.
in all lawful matters of duty performance.
I accept the police credential and shield
I accept the police credential and shield
as being representative
as being representative
of the special trust placed in me
of the special trust placed in me
as a Metro Transit police officer.
as a Metro Transit police officer.
Congratulations.
Chief, thank you for administering the oath. Class 122, please be seated. So, prior to this graduation, Class 122 attended and graduated from the Northern Virginia Criminal Justice Academy. The regional academy lasted 20 weeks and was comprised of recruit officers from various police agencies in Northern Virginia. The graduation was the final phase of training for their regional counterparts. And although this was a proud moment for Class 122, unlike their peers, their training was not complete. Class 122 had to successfully complete 18 additional weeks of training at the Metro Transit Police Academy. In total, Class 122 completed 38 weeks of law enforcement training. This demonstrated the determination, dedication, and desire possessed by Class 122 to become Metro Transit Police officers. We will now present the Metro Transit Police Achievement Awards for the class. Deputy Chief George Nader will present the first award. This award, named in honor of our first Chief of Police, salutes the officer achieving the highest average academic score in the class. The Angus B. McLean Honor Graduate for Class 122 is Officer Alexander Tubman. Deputy Chief Stephen Bone will present the second award. This award, named in honor of our second Chief of Police, acknowledges the officer with the highest overall physical fitness score. The Burton E. Morrow Physical Fitness Proficiency Award for Class 122 is awarded to Officer Justin Logan. Deputy Chief Warren Donald will present the third award. This award is named in honor of our first Assistant Chief of Police and acknowledges the officer with the highest overall firearms score. The Denny W. Stewart Firearms Proficiency Award for Class 122 is awarded to Officer Charles House.
Okay, Charlie.
The fourth and final award is the Harry Davis Jr. Marlon Francisco Morales Award for Leadership and will be presented by Chief Michael Gonzalo and Mr. Joe Lee. This award is in memory of the 2 Metro Transit police officers who made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. The Leadership Award is presented to an officer from each graduating class chosen by their peers, their classmates, as the individual who demonstrates the qualities of sound leadership and commitment to duty. The recipient of the Harry Davis Jr. Marlon Francisco Morales Leadership Award is Officer Jared Ferguson. His brother, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all the recipients. At this time, Chief Gonzalo will now present the tri-jurisdictional certificates for Class 122. Class 122, attention. Each officer is asked to come forward as your name is called. Family members, please come up and take pictures with your loved ones. Officer Erica Alvaranga. Come on, you guys.
You can come get in the picture.
Go around the corner.
Come get in.
Officer Tammy Artis. Officer Abina Akoto. Officer Soto, hold on. Yeah. We want officers, just so everyone knows, Officer Soto was in class 120. However, during the process, she decided she wanted to have a baby. She came back to finish up, and these are the class members who wanted to come represent. Officer James Francois. Christian Anguasakwa. I told him I was just going to pay him when he was doing the thing correctly at least once, so I got it, right? Officer Jared Ferguson. Officer Janoy Jackson. Officer Charles His House. Officer Christian Barrera. That's the best I can do with rolling my R's. I'm sorry. Officer Elliot Witt. Officer Alexander Tubman. Officer Domingo De Leon. So this brings us to the end of our graduation ceremony. Class 122, remember your training and remember your oath. Use them to guide you on a successful, safe, meaningful career in service to our community. Class 122, welcome to the department. We worked that out, but it didn't go quite as we planned, but it's all good. It's still rolling. Class 122, please be seated. We will now proceed into our Metro Transit promotional ceremony. The members being promoted today endure a rigorous promotional process, which challenged them in various aspects of leadership and knowledge. Needless to say, they met or exceeded the promotional standards and have achieved the next level in their law enforcement careers. For the promotion to Sergeant on the Metro Transit Police Department, Sergeant Javier Hodge. Just so you know a little bit about Sergeant Hodge. Javier was born and raised on the Virgin Island of St. Thomas. He moved to Hyattsville, Maryland in 1995 and graduated from Northwestern High School in 1997. Javier attended the University of Maryland University College, where he received a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice in 2005. He joined the Metro Transit Police Department in 2005 and has worked in both the Patrol Operations and Homeland Security, Intelligence and Investigations Bureaus as foot, mobile, field training officer and as a detective. Javier enjoys cooking, loves traveling, and spending quality time with his family. For promotion to sergeant, Sergeant John Sheffield. John was born and raised in Washington, D.C. He graduated from Calvin Creek High School in 2003. John attended King's College in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, where he studied criminal justice. He ultimately returned home to finish his education at DeVry University, where he received a Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice in 2012. He joined the Metro Transit Police Department in 2006 and has worked in both the operations and Homeland Security Intelligence and Investigations Bureaus as foot, mobile crime scene search, and a member of the Anti-Terrorism Unit. He was recently assigned to the Administrative Services Bureau as a training coordinator with the training division. John's greatest achievement was becoming a father to his son, David. So it's customary for the newly promoted to provide a few words of encouragement to our, new recruits. So Sergeant Hodge volunteered, voluntold, depending on how you look at it. However, the floor is yours, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. Class 122, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Let's say congratulations to all the graduates. To Sergeant Sheffield also, it's been a long journey. Congratulations. One key concept that I want Class 122 to keep in mind and to always have in you is the concept of being held to a higher standard. When it comes to law enforcement and police officers, that is the standard that we're held to. Keep it in mind, and it's one thing that you have to live by as a police officer. The definition of higher standard is basically the quality of being outstanding and extremely good at what you do, and that's what you're expected to be. Don't be easily influenced in doing anything that's wrong. In this job, you encounter a lot of things, a lot of people that can lead you astray. 16 years ago, I sat where we were sitting. I've learned a lot. It's been a good, very challenging role. But as I said, don't be easily influenced to do what's wrong. Mature. This job has encouraged me and forced me to grow up. The situations you handle every day, the people you talk to, the discipline you receive, whether it's good or bad, it basically forces you to grow up and be a mature person. Right? Professionalism. The way you dress today, all the chiefs, everyone, be professional, dress professional, dress for work. Make sure that when you come to work every day, that you're looking the part. Right? As a police officer, there are a lot of people out there that respect you, so you have to look that part. When you speak to people, be mindful of that. There are a lot of people looking up to you, your peers, your family, everyone. Just, be professional at all times. Respect. It's a very tough thing in policing. In this age of policing, you're going to have to respect a lot of people that don't respect you. All right? Keep that in mind. But be professional and be respectful in whatever you do. Integrity. I've heard this for a very long time. You have to be trustworthy. You have to stick by your word. You have to do what's right. You don't really have much of an option to not have integrity. So please keep it in mind that integrity is all you have. Set goals for yourself. As I said, I sat where you were sitting 16 years ago. I decided that I wanted to become a detective. That's something I tried very hard at. Became a detective. Was a detective for about 10 years. I wanted to be a field training officer. I tried out for that. I got that. Here I am. I applied to be sergeant. So just keep goals for yourself, and the more positions you have, it will keep taking you up to that higher standard that you're expected to be held to. as far as for the family that's here today, family, loved ones, and friends, support them. It's been a long road for me. Without my family, friends, my wife, it would be basically impossible. They're gonna have to work a lot of long nights, sometimes be away from the house for up to 24 hours, dealing with the arrest cases, going to court, stuff like that. So just be supportive of them. It's gonna be rough. You're gonna have a lot of tough times with your officials. You're gonna have back and forths. Be respectful. Myself and Deputy Chief Will, we've had our times. So, but it all works out in the end. As I said, you're held to a higher standard, and stick to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Hodge. We certainly appreciate that. You can tell me later about that. On behalf of Chief Gonzal, I want to extend a special thank you to the family and friends who have joined us here today. We certainly appreciate you being here. We know all that they put you through to get them here, so we definitely appreciate all the support that you give them. Congratulations to all of you, everyone that's been, becoming police officers today. I like the kid with them. I call them almost officers throughout the whole academy. We're almost there. So as of today, you are officially here. Welcome aboard. Welcome to new sergeants. We certainly appreciate you being here today. Will everyone please stand as the Metro Transit Police Honor Guard retires the colors.
Mark time. Mark. Detail. Hold. Flag right. Ready. Step. Ready. Two. Ready. Step. Freeze, hey, pump. Order, pump. Ready, cut. Counter column, part.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Please join us next door for food and refreshments. Congratulations.